Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, welcome on and back again to the Sports Buffoons here, studio-ish, setup, something like that. It's the Sports Buffoons show, without a doubt, on a Friday night of all things. Who would have thought we'd be here on a Friday night? When's the last time we had a Friday night show, Tanner? Very, very rare. It's been a while.
It's been a bit. It's been a bit since we've done our Friday night. So
yeah,
we only did one last year, I believe.
Yeah, sorry guys. We had planned on doing a show a couple nights ago, but some things run into things, and then hey, the good news is we're still in the off season technically of the NFL, still in the off season of the Chiefs. Royals just took a really hard loss there in extra innings, so we got that out of the way for the night. At least we know the outcome. But the better news is the horizons are around the corner, and we're talking some Chiefs today. We're talking some fantasy here in a little bit as well. And so the good news is that the better parts of our sports fandom are on the horizons, and that's all I really care about.
That's right. That's the biggest thing here. JG's out. He's getting his vacation in as he gets ready for football season. He had to get the family trip done and take care of it. So,
hey, he's in Colorado for like 9 days or something like that. That's a long vacation.
Because he's coming back tomorrow, he said. So
something like that. It's either tomorrow.
He said he'll be back. Well, he said he'll be able to, if he wanted to, he can go to the casino on Sunday. So he'll be back tomorrow then.
That's a long vacation. I mean, Colorado's worth it. I hope he's had a great time out there.
It sounds like he's been bouncing around the state too, right? So he hasn't just stayed at one spot. It sounds like he's all over the spot. So
yeah, he got to hit up Avery. I know he's been through Denver a little bit. Went to Manitou Springs, Colorado Springs. I don't know how far west he went from there, but
yeah,
we'll have to ask him about it once he's all back and see if his experience this time was just as good as last time. Because I know he's a big Estes Park fan too. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they hit that for a little bit too. So,
probably.
But we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out when JG returns to see what's going down. Yeah,
man. Well, before we kick it off, I figure it's Friday night, so I gotta ask, what are you sipping on? Because I got my little sipper of choice for the evening. As you know, Tanner, you know me too well, but
I do.
It's the old Jack. I know it's
I see that, but I think the thing that caught my eye is that little top bottle next to you. That would be a tank.
Well, that's for mid-show, so we're gonna sip on some of this right here.
All I needed to see was the very top of it, and I'm like, "Yep, there's the tank."
I told you the other day, Tanner, we were at Ameristar making money, and I told you the other day, I was like, "Dude, whenever I die, you got to bury a bottle of this with me." Because at this point in my life, it's become such a staple of my drink of choice that Tang 7 100% needs to go, and some kind of either cremation or whatever happens.
Stuff it in the jar with.
It's gotta be involved with my. It's
or maybe we just pour your ashes inside of that Tank 7 and store it somewhere else. Maybe that's your urine.
Just never accidentally drink it. That's all I can say. It's just the plan.
Keep it far away from Jason.
That would be pretty much right. Jason on a drunk night might not work out too well with that. So it's pour one out for the homies, but it's not going to end up too well.
Oh man, look at that
one. Yeah. So, anyways, just enjoying ourselves. I had some Mexican food for dinner. So
there you go.
Always the normal Friday night Mexican food and a couple margaritas, of course. So I'm primed and ready to talk about Chiefs secondary today.
That means if you're sitting here and hitting margaritas, man, that just means you're ready for football, because that's usually what you do during football season.
I loved it. Like, speaking of that, my boss asked me yesterday how, he came up to me just as randomly, and he's just like, "Oh, how's Mike Settle doing?" And I go, "I'm thinking about football right now. Like, it's football season. We're less than a week away from training camp, and that's all that's on my mind." And that's literally what I told my boss yesterday. Yeah, it's like, if you ask me how I'm doing right now, I mean, I'm living, I'm alive here, but all I can really think about is the fact that training camp is less than a week away, and
Freaking
football season is basically almost here. So for me, it's like, how am I doing? I'm getting through the days until we could get to fucking training camp and start playing some games, and then I'll be a happy camper for a while.
There you go. There you go. I did not quite have the Jose's, the margaritas, or anything else like that. We went to Red Robin for dinner tonight. Did not get a drink, but we do got some old in the mix here. 100 proof, ready to go.
You said you got the 100 Old Forester.
Oh yeah, it was on sale too.
Good one, awesome. Man. What did you get for like $22?
20. It was 24.
24. So. That's pretty good price, honestly, for 100 proof.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good drinkable, sessionable drink. Even, I mean, it doesn't taste super alcoholic. It's easy to put a few down without a doubt.
Hey, this one's first drink here. This one's built to be a little stronger for the first drink. So
honestly, that's part of why I drink these, because like it controls how much I pour. I can't pour,
Can't overpour.
It's 7% alcohol in these Jack and Coke Zeros, and it's that way I can't sit there just pouring the bottle into my or my whiskey and Coke or whatever, So
all right, yeah. No, I got a good strong one for the show here. Something I definitely want to make sure of. Looks like we got Starsky in the comments. Starsky, welcome in, dude. He goes, "What is this? The 10 p.m. edition of the Buffoons? It is past my bedtime."
On a Friday? Come on, Starsky. It's a Friday, man. I know you got some housework and lawn work to do tomorrow, but I mean, man, it's a Friday. It's a good evening to have an enjoyable time and talk some football.
Football.
Talk some football.
It's not Bills though. That might,
if Tanner had come to me earlier this week and said, "Hey, we're going to talk NBA again. You want to do a show Friday?" I would have said, "Hell no." So the only reason I'm even here right now is because we're talking Chiefs. God damn it,
Chiefs! All right. Well, are we ready to get into it, Mike?
Let's go, man.
We're ready to talk. So last week, guys, in case you didn't tune into the show last week, we did talk the wide receivers, right? We kind of broke down a little of the receivers action, and that was a good starting point, I believe, for Chiefs talk. It was very good. So now we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna hit the defensive side here this week. We're gonna talk some secondary, okay? Secondary. Now the question is now that the defensive line has completely been reformed, it feels like, in a way, not really completely, but there's a lot of names that have been around for a while that are no longer here, if you think about it. So from a Chiefs secondary standpoint, though, is this now the strength of Spags' defense? Is this now the strength of Spags in general? With the secondary coming into play, we returned Mike Edwards, added Christian Fulton, drafted, is it Nohl Williams? Am I right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Nohl Williams. So, Mike, I'm going to pass it off to you to just kick us off, man. Like, is this Chiefs secondary the strength of Spags' defense this year?
Yeah, I would say so, especially depth-wise when you look at the roster right now, because the Chiefs over the last few years have been losing interior defensive linemen. And, once again, we're in a situation where we're hoping guys can step up, because the thing is, we look at this roster top to bottom on the defensive side of the ball, and Mike Pennell is currently your number 2 D tackle. And we run a 4-3 defense traditionally, And so Mike Pennell is not necessarily the guy you want to have in there playing every down. And Jerry Tillery, by the way, who is a backup, is not a guy who's necessarily produced at a level that we expect to have multiple reps on this defense.
Yeah.
So, whoa there. So, at that point, we have a guy who still needs to sign his contract. We have Omar Norman Lott, who is going to be kind of a rotational D tackle piece next to Chris Jones in this defensive line. And it's kind of weak. I'm not going to lie. I'm concerned about the up the middle of the D tackle, D line situation here with the Chiefs this year. And I know it's something we're going to talk about as we get closer to, preseason and everything else. And I'm a little worried about it, without a doubt. There's been a lot of pieces that were here that were good quality players who are now gone. And so looking at the roster now, you see the additions of Nohl Williams. You see the addition of Christian Fulton as well. And, honestly, the the play of Jaden Hicks last year was awesome. I mean, I thought he did a really, really good job, and I think he's going to step in as a starter right away and be terrific his first year here. And then, of course, you got depth, guy who's been here for a long time now with Chamari Connor and Mike Edwards. Both of those guys know the system, know where to be, understand things very well. And let's not forget even Deion Bush, who's been here since the first Super Bowl. I mean, with 5 years ago. I mean, Deion Bush has been a part of this roster for a while now, and he's kind of bounced back away at one point, came back to the team. And, the reason he's back here right now is because he's got familiarity with Steve Spagnuolo and the way he runs his defense. So for me, it's like, looking at this roster at this point defensively, there is concerns on the D-line, but that secondary is 100% veteran-owned, guys who've been here for a while, know where to be, know what to expect. And you got Jalen Watson, McDuffie, Nohl Williams. We'll see how that works out. Obviously, he was a mid to late round draft pick. And Ozzie Johnson, of course, is still on the roster too. So something else to keep in mind. But I do agree that the secondary is the strength of this defense, primarily due to the fact that there's a lot of veteran leadership on this roster and quality playmakers. Let's not ignore the fact that Brian Cook can be a really good safety too. So, I'd say so.
That's true too. If we look at it too, I mean, popping in here, you're looking here at Steve Spags used 6 DBs looks on 28% of snaps last year. That was the NFL highest in the NFL. And just think of what he's going to do this year, knowing that the fact that he doesn't have the same kind of pass rush and the same kind of run stop that he's had on that D line for the past 3 years, right? So that, I mean, we could see easily in the 30% range for seeing a lot more DB looks amongst that. Some ideas here. I mean, you could put Fulton outside, McDuffie, being versatility, keeps that, we keep it intact. We keep that package rolling, and he's going to bounce around. I really do think that we're going to be looking at a very unique secondary this year. And there's a reason why we are listed as the second best NFL secondary in the NFL on the Pro Football Focus preseason list.
Yeah,
right?
I think
the only one's Baltimore ahead of us. So,
well, keep in mind, one of the reasons I think that the Chiefs did add Christian Fulton to the mix was that way it allowed McDuffie to go back inside and play that nickel position, which I think he is most valuable at, as a matter of fact. And he's fine as an outside corner, but as a nickel, I think is where he thrives the most. And that way your outside guys, hopefully, plan is Jalen Watson, Christian Fulton. Of course, I know some people are indifferent on him, but I still think Josh Williams at times can be a quality player. I'm not by any means a Josh Williams hater. So I think as an outside guy, he still can be serviceable, especially as your fourth cornerback on your team. But moving McDuffie more to the inside again, I think is going to be very impactful. And a lot of teams these days use their best receiver as a slot wide receiver, which means you're going to be matching up your best corner with your best receiver. Hell, the Chiefs are one of those teams when Rashee Rice is healthy. When Rashee Rice is healthy, Rashee Rice is healthy and on the field and everything. He's honestly our slot receiver,
Yeah.
Something to take into account. And, Keenan Allen, for instance, over the years as well. And Larry Fitzgerald, whenever he was playing, guys that were slot receivers who were the best receiver on their team, they use them
Sean
primarily.
Jackson,
They use them primarily in the slot, which is where Trent McDuffie is going to be thriving this year and hopefully locking down some of those guys. I think it's a more natural position for McDuffie, and I think that's going to be a great thing to see unfold. The key is, for me, is hoping that the purchase of Christian Fulton pays off, and he ends up being the outside corner that the Chiefs really needed. And because if for some reason he fails, then I think there could be issues on the outside, which is going to force McDuffie back to playing on the outside again. I'm hoping that's not the case.
I mean, and that brings us into the Trent McDuffie, Christian Fulton, conversation, right? Can these guys complement each other this year? Trent McDuffie. When's the last time he hasn't really had a complimentary corner? Was he with Snead his rookie year, or Snead just gone that next?
No,
that
yeah,
first
yeah. Snead was there with McDuffie. Yeah,
Okay.
Snead was
So
still on
I
the
mean,
team when McDuffie was
we
drafted.
saw what that secondary was then when they were together, right? Now McDuffie
Right.
and Fulton come together. Like we could see a nice little duo there among corners. And Chiefs could have one of the best duos alone with those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that's the case, but I do want to point out one little fun fact, but this is a interesting omen, I would say. But Christian Fulton was the guy who intercepted Patrick Mahomes on the play that Rashee Rice ended up getting his ACL torn during a dive by Mahomes to make a tackle on Christian Fulton that ended up tearing Rashee Rice's ACL. So, and then let me get my picture back up. Yeah, so my point is that it's interesting that kind of came full circle, where now the person who intercepted Mahomes, where Mahomes then went to make an attempt at a tackle that injured Rashee Rice, is now on this roster. So sometimes it's funny the way that works out. But
how it works, you know. And
but I
Dave out
mean,
here said they're going to kill it. Hey, I think we agree.
is it an elite duo? I don't know that I would go that far to even put. I'm a big Jalen Watson fan. First of all, I mean, I've liked him since day one. You guys got to remember that his rookie season, we won the Super Bowl, and he was playing, as a I think it was a 5th round draft pick. He was playing like that full season.
He was a 6.
He might have been even later than that. Might have been.
Yeah, no, he was like I can't remember if it was 6 or 7 now off the top of my head.
It might have been even a 6th.
But yeah, because I remember doing a mock draft for the Houston Texans on Let's Talk Sports Network at the time, and he was my guy in the 6th round. Because I was like, I love what I saw. I love what I saw.
He ended up playing almost that entire season as a starter.
Yeah,
that year. I mean, he played more snaps than Josh Williams did. And Williams was drafted even ahead of him in that same draft. And I just think that there was such a maturing process, quick, fast, and he played really, really well even that year. And to me, McDuffie and Watson, I think those guys are both very, very valuable to this team. And I'm hoping that, Watson can still stay healthy. I know last year he was out for a few games and it caused some issues, but I think Fulton for one, when he was at Tennessee, I think that it was a little bit slow. I think that he had some hiccups, and I don't think he had the greatest start to his career. Went to the Chargers and had a really quality year, without a doubt. And I think that that's something that maybe with this Spags system, something that he can believe in and rely on, it can elevate his game. That's the plan right now. So I think I'm going to wait and see on calling this some kind of elite corner duo, because I'm not going to say he's worthy of that yet.
Yes. Yeah, Dave out here says Watson got those long arms. He does, man. He does. Yeah, I look at it here too from a Watson standpoint. The way they complement each other, that very well could be very impactful for the defense, is something we really do need this season. Is Christian Fulton's a little bit more bodied to be able to kind of work out those outside receivers than what McDuffie is. McDuffie, like you talked about already, is kind of more the inside guy. I mean, he can get physical, but I mean, we saw what he was with AJ Brown, right? It was outmatched. Like you put McDuffie on the AJ Brown matchup, you're outmatched.
It's like back when we saw Brandon Flowers trying to cover Calvin Johnson. Brandon Flowers was a really good cornerback for this team. But you're putting a guy who's undersized against a monster like Calvin Johnson. There's no shot. You can't cover that. It doesn't matter how good you are technique wise at that point. You're just gonna get, manhandled a little bit. And so, McDuffie is a similar situation. He's not 5'9", I think he's like 5'10". But when you're facing AJ Brown, who's 6'3", it's a similar kind of concept where you can only do so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe on that there. Look, I think there's potential for elite here that we could see. And again, this is potential. This is preseason talk, and hopefully we see the compliment. They got great complementary depth chart coming into play there, right? And you got Brian Cook on the back end, who we know is a hitter. Jamari Connor, who knows he's aggressive, right? Getting at it. So Mike Edwards, hopefully we can see Mike Edwards kind of return back to what he was a few years ago with us since his departure the first time. So
yeah, Edwards was one. Whenever he left the team, I was a little disappointed just because I thought he played pretty well, especially as that third rotational safety that year, couple of years ago. Went to Buffalo, did literally nothing, and so coming back to here, I think Spags is one of those guys who does have a big draw, and if there's certain guys who he believes in and everything, I think he has a big say in that. I think Edwards is one of those guys that stood out to him as someone that understands the system. And obviously, we're in a situation now where we don't want to see him on the field much. We want Jaden Hicks to be a baller. We want Brian Cook to lay the hammer and let those guys do their thing. And then Jamari Connor to be that third safety we've seen over the last few years. But I'm hoping that's the way it plays out. But I'm looking forward to that. We've got some good depth at least. We can think.
We really do. We really do here. And as we keep moving here in the topics here for the Chiefs, we're talking about Brian Cook, Mike Edwards, Jaden Hicks. Shamari Connor can be even put on this list here right now. Life after Justin Reed. Justin Reed, unfortunately, we can't keep everybody, can't pay everybody. A guy that, I think we all loved in town. I know he loved the Chiefs as well. Ended up going to New Orleans here, unfortunately, but we got guys to replace him, and we got guys that have been groomed to replace him that knows the leadership of Justin Reed and the way he presents himself. And Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks got to play one the last year. Mike Edwards has been around the guy for a while. Jamari Connor got to play one for a few years, Like, we got some great safeties in this matter here. Mike, is there somebody here, though, that takes that Justin Reed title in the secondary? Right now, currently, Brian Cook has that, what do they call it? Is it green card? Green dot? Has the green dot there. Sorry.
Green card,
Tanner. Don't ask.
What do you got on your mind? You're wearing pants right now? It is Friday night.
Hey, I'm home for the night.
But
I am home for the night, so But now
I make sure my pants are on because if this table collapses, then we're in for trouble. So
you get a way heavier computer on your table than I do.
That's what I'm worried about. So I gotta make sure pants are on. So what about green cards again?
So we got the Dave says deport. Love it. So we got the green dot currently on Brian Cook is what I've seen coming to play. But I mean, life after Justin Reed, that guy that's the captain back there with all the secondary. Is there a guy on the safety that you trust more?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that at this point, we saw the transition from Tyrann Mathieu to then Justin Reed right away. That veteran coming into the play to be that leader in the secondary as a safety member. And then Justin Reed was a really great chief. I think he handled himself very well most of the time. He had one little hiccup, I think, that Andy Reid was not a big fan of, but we can forgive him for that. That's okay. Justin Reed was a great chief and good teammate. And I think at this point, we've gotten to the point where we've groomed well enough Brian Cook to be that next leader on this team in the secondary. And I think he absolutely is ready for that. I mean, it is a big step because now at this point, you're going to be put in place to potentially have that captain, potentially on your jersey, and have that captain piece. And so I think he's going to be the guy that's looked at as a veteran mindset and a leader in the secondary, more so than Mike Edwards, and definitely more so than Jaden Hicks. And McDuffie even, doing his thing. I think that Spags has actually talked about this, about Brian Cook kind of being a leader to direct things on, the back five, I should say, the back five in the defense. He's going to be kind of the leader in that role. So I would expect him to be the guy wearing that green card, as you say, Tanner.
That's wearing that damn green card. No, I agree with you. I think Brian Cook is the guy here of this defense, second for the secondary, right? Outside of what the linebackers are, Brian Cook's the guy. Brian Cook is the guy, right? To be able to read these plays and be able to make those calls that he needs to. Mike Edwards is there. We know Mike Edwards from the Bucs defense early in his career. He's a guy that if we need to step up, we got somebody there. We got a veteran presence still, who's been a part of that kind of thing. So I'm not really concerned on like having that vet presence there because we got a guy.
I still love Mike Edwards for lying about getting the vaccination with Tampa Bay. I mean, that's amazing. The Tampa Bay was rumored to be the first team that had all 53
Oh
fully
yeah, I remember
vaccinated.
that. Yeah,
And then it came out not too long after that that there was a few players that had fake vaccination cards, and Mike Edwards was one of them. There's a possibility I might have supplied one of those cards to him.
I was about to say there was a business being done. I'm sure
I mean, you
involved in
never know.
that.
It's a possibility. They might have been for sale back in the day. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love what we got in the secondary. I think it's going to be huge here. We got the new blood, right? That rookie cornerback Nohl Williams that we drafted here. Does he make an early impact for this team, Mike? Like, I don't see him needing to right away, because of what we do have established already. But maybe there's a spot that Spags has planned for this guy that maybe something does happen.
I'll just tell you this. I think he's going to be strictly a special teams player his first year in the league. The Chiefs, for whatever reason, they've always had a deep belief in Najee Johnson. And there's a chance that Najee Johnson definitely gets some playing time this year during certain situations.
Yeah.
Nohl Williams, I love the length, the athleticism. I think as a prospect, looks really good. His comparison, as a matter of fact, as a player, was Marcus Peters, and I think that that's an interesting take. And if that's the case, if that's the kind of ball hawk mentality he has, then I'll 100% take that. But I have a feeling in year one, with considering the fact of the depth of already having Jalen Watson, Trent McDuffie, Josh Williams, and then the already, for whatever infatuation the Chiefs have with Najee Johnson in play, Nohl Williams is going to be used on kickoffs, punts, and primarily just special teams usage. I do not see him being a guy who's used much this year as an actual starter by any means on the outside, because he will be an outside corner when that time comes. And he will be a guy that replaces Josh Williams in this defense without a doubt. I'm saying next year. But I'd be really shocked if this year he made an early impact of any kind. I mean, maybe if there's some injuries later in the year, he could step in, but otherwise, I see him being a special teams guy this year.
Nah, you make some good points there, and we know that Reed and his staff, like, they love certain guys, and like you said, Najee being one for sure, Deion Bush being another, and there's not going to be that opportunity. Like I said, I didn't think there'd be much of an impact needed, but maybe there's some random plays that he sneaks in and something happens, right? I don't know, pending injury, whatever it might be. Never rule it out, but I think you make a good point there, being a special teams guy, for this. But that's okay. That's okay, though. We don't need to see a rookie come out and make this kind of big impact right away. Like that. It's okay.
It's depth, It's if an injury occurs, like say Jalen Watson goes down with an injury, at that point, yeah, I'd expect Nohl Williams to step in and hopefully can be a productive part of the team. But as far as what the team wants right now, I do not see him making any kind of an early impact. And if he does at all, it'll be way later in the season. But you never know. Maybe he's a special teams specialist. Maybe he's the guy that you need for blocking punts. Maybe he's just ideal at those kind of things, because I think that's going to be his usage in year one. And keep in mind, he was a late round draft pick, and he's going to need some development. So let's not get too excited yet about the idea of Nohl Williams.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just another couple things here on the Chiefs secondary before we move on to some fantasy football here. Trent McDuffie. Pro Football Focus had him as top 10 in both coverage and run support. Plus, he blitzes like a slot safety, which we saw and we'll see, I think, again this year a lot. And then Christian Fulton allowed a sub 70 passer rating with LA. And if you guys need to know something why that's relevant, Snead never hit that once with the Chiefs.
So you're saying coverage-wise, based on that number alone, he was better than what L'Jarius Sneed provided.
Correct. So just a couple things to throw out there. Maybe build your confidence there with the secondary if you are still iffy about it. But I mean, we got some good guys. We got some aggressive guys, and I think I think that's gonna be a big key for this Chiefs defense this year.
Yeah, I want to see a ball hawk be a part of this defense again. It's been talked about. Justin Reed talked about it even last year,
Mhm.
how he wanted to lead the league in interceptions. And that was like a goal of his. Of course, that never came to fruition. But like, for some reason in Steve Spagnuolo's defense, we don't seem to have a guy who we can consistently rely on to be the ball hawk, to make those plays, make those interceptions. Jaden Hicks, for God's sakes, as a rookie who only played part-time, tied for the team high in interceptions last year.
3 interceptions on
And
460 snaps.
Trent McDuffie, what is he at 2 now for his career?
2 in his last year, and one of them he used the board up top to find it.
Right, which is great. I mean, maybe that's a sign of things to come. But what is it about this type of defense that Steve Spagnuolo runs where we can't have guys that are ball hawks by any means? And the linebackers, forget about it. I mean, Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal and they're not guys that are necessarily ball hawks or looking for making a play on the ball, which is funny because Drew Tranquill against the Chiefs just 3 years ago, as a matter of fact, picked off Mahomes, I think twice in one game. Which I don't know why that was a thing, but Drew Tranquill, who's a great run stopper, somehow had a couple picks. So the linebackers are not going to be the ones to rely on to make plays like that very often. And so it's like somebody in the secondary's got to step up and be the guy who is that playmaker to force fumbles, create turnovers, one way or another. And I don't know who it's going to be yet. It's still looking like it might be the same as it has been the last few years.
Still to be announced. But you can't, nonetheless, excited for the Chiefs secondary to see exactly what they can execute this year without Justin Reed under the helm. Unfortunately, I love Justin, but I'm excited to see what these guys bring to the table here without that big vet presence. So, all right, Mike, you ready?
What you got cooking?
It's time. Fantasy sleepers, guys. You regret not drafting. We're looking at some sleepers here, maybe one or two, whatever you might bring to the table here. But what are some guys here that we're finding possibly later in, past the 7th, 8th round that we might be looking at, almost after the 10th round that could make an impact for your fantasy team? Mike, I'll let you start with one here.
Yeah, I'll give you one off the bat and then I'll let you go. But, last week, I think we were a little bit of haters on some Dolphins players. Naturally, we had a couple Dolphins players that we were kind of on the negative on, but naturally, I feel like that doesn't mean the whole team's going to suck. There's going to be somebody who picks up the slack. And for me, one of those guys is Jalen Wright, running back. His current ADP is 140, and with Raheem Mostert gone, I just feel like I told you guys last week that Devon Achane was going to probably be a guy who's on the decline, considering where he's going right now in drafts, and obviously the where he went from averaging 8 yards a carry down to 4.5, and just he's not going to be the guy you rely on to be your full-time back. Jalen Wright's a much bigger character, much bigger running back than Achane, and I think he's gonna fit in really well. He's got great speed and receiving ability as well. And I also mentioned Achane potentially missing time. Missing time this coming season. I think when I ran it through the system, I think he was projected to miss like 4.5 games or something like that, which tells me Jalen Wright's going to be great value. He's not only going to be playing for part of the snaps, but he's also going to be playing whenever Achane's out because it's probably going to happen more than likely. So for me, at ADP 140 right now, Jalen Wright is a great pick at that spot, and bigger bodied guy and fast that I think is going to make an impact on that team. So I have him as one of my top sleeper picks right now in PPR fantasy.
Yeah, I like that one. I do believe in that as well. So Sticking with that division for myself here, something Starsky will like here. Ray Davis. Ray Davis this year being a sleeper, a guy that you will not regret. Yeah, you'll regret not drafting. Okay. This is a guy here currently somewhere between the 141, 145 mark here. If you look at Underdog and DraftKings trends, they're looking about 153 for him, which he was at 140 going in May. Now he's all the way down to 152 in some of these guys. So, well, look, there's this guy here is we don't know really with James Cook, right? James Cook wants a contract. Okay, Ty Johnson, he's not it. He's not it. And then they got Darrington Evans and then Frank Gore Jr. behind him. There's nobody else really in Ray Davis's way to get those reps, to get the ball in general and be part of this offense like he was last year. He's I don't know, man. Like this thing just drives me nuts because Ray Davis, he's listed third on Orlads with Ty Johnson, James Cook there, but at the same time, there's no reason why you don't give this guy the opportunity here. So I like him. I like him around that 145, 150 mark. And I think it's a great steal to have for a running back room that, if you're possibly looking to build some depth there, Ray Davis might be a guy for you.
Yeah, I like Ray Davis. I thought he played pretty well sparingly last year. So, I mean, I totally understand. So I don't hate that one by any means. Ray Davis was a solid RB2 last year.
It was because Ty Johnson got hurt, and then James Cook did his thing. So like he was a great guy that filled in when it need be, and he took some reps from James Cook late in the season too. So I mean that's just again something to think about too. His usage increased, that week 14, 15, 16 range from where he was. So
yeah.
What do you got here? You said you had another one, right?
Yeah, I do have one more, and this is a guy who could be a really late sleeper. I mean, maybe take him with your last round of your draft. And we all know who this is, but it's just like a matter of hoping they can figure out the quarterback situation. But I've been, since day one of his draft, Cedric Tillman, I've been a fan of him with the Browns. And for me, the only thing holding him back right now is the quarterback situation. But
Who is it?
But I legitimately think Cedric Tillman is good enough to be like their WR1, WR2. You know what I mean? Like I think that he's going to be a guy who's going to get the majority of the targets in this offense. And I was looking back at some of his stats the last couple of years. He missed a good portion of last season, but in only 4 games started. Keep in mind he had 24 catches, 264 yards receiving, and 3 touchdowns, and we had one big breakout game basically, and ended up doing not much else after that. And it's not anything to do with his talent. The guy's got a good pedigree. His dad played for the Broncos and was a decent player with the Broncos. And I think that's kind of what transitioned Cedric Tillman to be able to step in right away and be a reliable player. Cedric Tillman's a guy where if he ever leaves the Browns, I would love to have him on the Chiefs as, our WR3 or 4. I think he's got really, really good upside still that needs to be taken into account. And my only concern is the quarterback situation. But even then, we're talking about sleepers. We're talking about guys who I would plug in as my WR4 in certain situations. And I think that Tillman has a chance to be a really good player still. And it's nothing, whatever you guys see the outcome of Cedric Tillman, it's nothing to do with his ability. It's literally the situation that's hindering him. And I'm hoping that they can just figure something out where they can force feed him a little bit and get him involved, because I still think Cedric Tillman's a good player. So he's my other sleeper for the day anyway.
I like that. I like that pick there. For my final guy here, it is another running back here. We're going to go rookie. We're going to go Jadon Blue with the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, you got Javonte Williams ahead of you at the 1, Miles Sanders at the 2, and then Jadon Blue. And there's nothing behind you, man. There's nothing behind you. And I mean, there's a reason why he got picked where he got picked. Right now, he's being picked currently in the fancy range of about 120 to 150 range on some sites, depending where you're drafting at and what you're drafting. But I mean, do we really believe that Miles Sanders is going to have this massive comeback and be a 2? No. Do we really believe Javonte Williams could be the guy? Yeah, maybe. But that still opens up competition there for that 2 spot with Miles Sanders, because you don't have Tony Pollard anymore. You don't have a Zeke being brought in here. You got a fresh Dallas backfield. Give me the Jadon Blue. Give me that Jadon Blue there. If you can get him close to that 12 and 13 round, that's a great steal. That's a great RB, 4, 3, 4. I would take at that point, because there are more guys you could probably go get. There's some guys out there that you might be stacking, like, is this guy really going to do something? You never know. It's fancy football, man. But, this is a guy I would definitely be looking at if he sticks around past that round 11 mark.
All right. Well, I'm curious about Jadon Blue. I mean, I watched him a little bit at Texas, and my only issue with him was he has a little bit of a lack of vision. But otherwise, athletically, he's got the straight line speed.
He does.
So I'll give him that. And he's got, decent height, weight, speed, intangible there. And but yeah, my only issue with him, probably with what I watched at Texas, was just his lack of patience and vision. Which I think that's a really common thing to see in a lot of running backs.
That's fine if you're looking for rushing yards. I'm looking at receiving yards, and you're talking about like 60 to 65 targets to the running backs between Zeke and Pollard are gone. Right? You got to open up to somebody here. And let's say this guy pops in with 35 to 40, 30. I would take. I really would take it and give him opportunity. Sure. So,
what round would you say he would be good to take in as a potential steal at that point?
I would take him anything past the 12, round 12.
Okay,
that would be a steal. Okay. 12 and on.
All right.
So. But that's your fantasy discussion here. And of course, guys, starting last week here, we did started a new segment here towards the end here. Something quick, something, we don't have to take too much time on. 2-minute warning. Get ready to end the show. It's coming in. It's coming up, guys. 2-minute warning. Which division will surprise everyone with a total shakeup in 2025? When I say shakeup, I want to know which one's flipping it's on its head. Like, are we talking about, who is going to be the biggest mix-up for the divisions this year?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, you gotta kind of think a little bit about
QB Starsky.
What did Starsky say there?
Starsky said the Cowboys have expressed that Blue is borderline lazy and that the team is not thrilled with his work habits. But I'd have to look deeper. I'm waiting for training camp. Give me training camp and we can talk about it. Let me see the preseason games.
I don't know if he's lazy or not. I just didn't care for his vision as a running back. I mean, that's one thing that really irks me a little bit, is whenever I see guys that are just impatient runners. And hell, we have one on this team right now, and he can't help it. I'm talking about Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, he's just it's forward. Go.
The guy could be absolutely phenomenal if he could learn a little bit more of a touch and how to work behind the line of scrimmage before things happen.
We say we get that to that point there, but at least he doesn't run backwards.
No, he does not run backwards. I mean, the taking a big 5-yard loss at least is rare for a guy like Pacheco. I love Pacheco. Yeah. Pacheco's great, man. I love him, but yeah, he's got his own issues as far as that goes.
So, 2-minute warning. Which division will surprise everyone with the total shakeup here? And I mean, this is interesting here, right? Because we do have some divisions that gotten better. You got some guys that have lost, and there's some contract dilemmas coming into play too. So, Mike, do you have an idea? Do you have anything here for this division here?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I enjoy the question. I almost want to say the AFC South, just because it seems to be always a little up in the air the last few years. And, we always have this expectation of the Jaguars to finally figure it out, and then they never do. They only had 4 wins last year, so I feel like they're a team that I feel like I'm saying this now for the third year in a row, should be better than they were. And so I feel like that's a potential shakeup to overtake the Colts. Maybe the Texans too as well, because the Texans did win that division last year with 10 wins, as a matter of fact. I also wouldn't put it past the Washington Commanders to come out strong and potentially overtake the Eagles. Now, keep in mind, it was a 12-win team with the Commanders versus a 14 for the Eagles last year. Cowboys and Giants are going to be doing the same thing as always. I wouldn't expect anything out of them differently. But otherwise, the division historically that has always been the one that changes year to year to year to year to year is the NFC West. And you never know what to expect in the NFC West. I mean, Who would have thought going into last year the 49ers would have the worst record in that division and finish with only 6 wins in the entire season? I think that, looking at everything top to bottom and all the divisions, the NFC West is the easy choice. I mean, you have a situation where Seattle won 10 games last year. They're going to take a step back. Geno Smith is
Sam
gone.
Darnold now.
Right, Sam Darnold's there and everything.
And you lose DK. So, yeah.
Right, DK's gone. Sam Darnold's now there. Sam Darnold might as well just gone back to the Jets again at this point. I mean, you're starting over once again. You had a great year with Minnesota, and now you're going to go screw off with their situation in Seattle, and it's going to be terrible. At least you made a lot of money. Proud of you for that.
At least you made
Sam.
a lot of money, yeah.
Can't hate him for that. Hope it's all going to Bitcoin. But I would say Seattle's going to come way down. San Fran's going to go way back up from 6 wins, probably to 10 or 11.
By the way, easiest strength of schedule. Easiest strength of schedule.
With the 49ers?
49ers.
It's perfect. It's a perfect setup for them to come back and get back in the mix and make the playoffs and everything. You know what I mean? Why would you not, go from worst to first? They're 100% your top team to do that this year in the NFL. And then the Rams at 10-7. I think they take a slight step back. I still think that they're a decent team, but I think that with the improvement of the 49ers, that the Rams are going to take a step back. And the Cardinals, they finished last year 8-9.
They were first place all the way through week 12.
Yeah, and then things fall apart pretty quick, doesn't it? I mean,
it did.
It's all about Kyler Murray, really, over there. It's just is he going to show up or not on a week-to-week basis? And for me, the biggest shakeup is without a doubt the NFC West, because looking at the rest of these divisions, honestly, if I had to just look through them right now, the NFC South is probably going to finish the same way it ended last year, because last year you had the Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints.
Yeah,
I expect it to be pretty much the same. And then the NFC North, you had Lions, Vikings, Packers, Bears, and maybe the Packers go ahead of the Vikings finally again here.
I think the Bears have a decent season.
Bears could take a step up.
I think the Vikings are last almost in that one.
Vikings 100% running coming down, but the Lions to me are still the top dog in that division.
I mean, hey, now something to think about too. We saw with the Eagles after their first Super Bowl win, right? They lose both their coordinators, and look, I mean, it was not the same. I'm curious to see how the Lions go about it. They're losing both their coordinators, and maybe there is a drop of regression. They may not be as good, but I mean, possibly they're like maybe Green Bay takes the helm, and Chicago puts Detroit, in that competition for second or something like that. I really do think Minnesota's last this year. Yeah,
very good possibility, and it's not going to make Justin Jefferson happy. He can be kind of emotional at times. And I think that the J.J. McCarthy experiment is going to be interesting to watch unfold. I do not think he's going to make or have as great of a year as what we just saw happen with Darnold. So, I mean, yeah, the Bears should be better, though, without a doubt. I think that's talent-wise a good team at the moment. And I think
they were talented last year, but they started the wrong way with the talent, with having Eberflus still there.
Well, let me ask you this then before we get out of here, but because obviously the AFC West, I would say at this point we still believe the Chiefs to be number one. Why would we not? It's been 9 years in a row. But this division has changed quite a bit over the offseason, and I feel like especially the Raiders have gotten better in a lot of ways. I mean, that's not a 4-win team anymore. The Raiders are going to win more than 4 games.
They're going to win. Yeah, they're going to be right there.
But here's the thing: the Denver also, you got some growth there. A year under their belt with their situation at quarterback, and then you have the Chargers. That we were 11-6 last year. I think the Raiders definitely improve. It's going to be tough because I don't know which one takes a step down. Chiefs did win 15 games last year, and I think you're going to need to win 13-14 to win the division, without a doubt.
I mean, if I just had to throw something out there, Chargers come in last place in this division.
Okay. Well, if that happens, I would assume Harbaugh's fired.
Oh no, he's a hero still. What are you talking about? You can't fire the hero. Best coach in the AFC.
If they have another year with a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who we know is a talented player, still underperform.
Yeah. They're gonna what they'll do is they'll get rid of Greg Roman first, get a new OC, and give Harbaugh another 2 years with that OC, and then finally can him.
Possibly. I know for me, I think the Raiders actually look pretty good on paper.
Raiders do. I think it's between the Broncos. I think the Broncos Raiders are gonna be right next to each other the whole entire season.
I'm hoping that Denver takes a step back because I think their defense could get worse. And even though they might have some improvements on offensively, I think they could take a step back. And the Raiders are the ones who jump up from 4 wins to 8 wins or 9 wins. Something
It'll be
like
interesting.
That. And there's a lot of people out there that think Ashton Jeanty is going to lead the league in rushing this year.
Hey, they're picking.
They want to give him 350 carries and just run him into the ground, then go for it. But
yeah, I'm okay. I'm kind of passing on him on fantasy. He's just way too high for me.
Yeah, way too high, without a doubt. And they have they have weapons there too. I mean, the tight end situation there is phenomenal. I mean, that guy's going to be Brock Bowers is awesome. I mean, he's going to be a threat for the next 10 years. I mean, he is basically the replacement for what Travis Kelce was, but maybe even better as a vertical threat.
And you still have Mayer, and you picked up Ian Thomas. You got a good 3, right? 2 and 3 to go behind Bowers. You're set there. You're set there. Yeah. Which is a big key too to have big bodies like that. From that aspect there. So I like where the Raiders sit. But look, if I had to pick a division here, and I know you picked NFC side, so I'll pick the AFC side of things and throw down a little surprise here. I'm going AFC North. I'm going AFC North being the surprise. And I think Baltimore probably still hands on to that division, but I believe it's a lot closer between the other 3 teams. Cincinnati, who knows what's going on defensively there? You might have 2 high-paid, guys, but you don't have a running game. I don't care what you say. You don't have a running game right now. So Cincinnati could be that team that puts up a lot of points, but also gives up a lot of points. Cleveland, again, a team with talent behind it, but do they have a leader at the helm to be able to take care of it? Don't know.
Their quarterback situation is going to ruin them.
It's going to stink. But I don't think the Bengals are going to be any better. And then Pittsburgh, what's Aaron Rodgers going to be? You're looking at a better situation with Aaron Rodgers, and Pittsburgh could be that team that possibly could dethrone. If anybody's going to dethrone freaking Pittsburgh or Baltimore in this division, it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Obviously Aaron Rodgers over the past year or two has been quite a controversial figure.
Yeah.
And, we've questioned his actual commitment, I would say, to the teams he's been on the last few years. But if he can come out and play any kind of level like he did 3 years ago, then 100% the Steelers with DK Metcalf and George Pickens, I mean, there's some weapons there. I mean, there's guys there that know how to play. And so I would say there's definitely a chance that things can work out well there for Rodgers. But I would still say that the Ravens should take care of that division.
But I'm just saying there's possibility there.
Hey, Lamar Jackson's one of the best regular season quarterbacks that we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Very true. Still no back-to-back playoff wins, but very good regular season. So, but that took way too much. That was way over 2-minute warning. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
but we'll get better at those. We'll get better at those.
Dave said, because you're a closet Jags fan, have been since Fred. Yeah, that's a fun fact. I mean, I in the late '90s, I was a big fan. I think first of all, I was a big Fred Taylor fan. So I liked his running style. I liked his size and speed and everything like that. And then Jimmy Smith was one that stood out to me as a wide receiver. But I think Mark Brunell being left-handed is what really had me intrigued by the Jaguars.
Yeah,
I thought they were cool. You know, the Jaguars came about in the mid-'90s and were this new developed team, like out of nowhere. Came along the same time as the Panthers. And I just thought the Jaguars were a cool team, and they started off right out the gate good. Literally went to like the AFC Championship their second year of existence. Like imagine the Houston Texans doing that in 02 or 03. You know. And I just thought that was Donovan Darius, the great safety. There was a lot of fun players on that Jaguars team. Keenan McCardle, of course, was another great one.
Amazing.
As a part of that.
So it's funny because you talk about being a Jags, closet Jags fan. Well, when the Titans came to life here, I mean, I was a Titans guy. I mean, I was always a Chiefs fan first, but I love the Titans. I loved having seen the Freak, Eddie George, Dyson, Aaron McNair. I could probably keep going on, and I played with them on Madden all the time as well. Like they were the team. I love the uniforms that they had. Jeff Fisher as a coach during that time knew what he was doing, and he wasn't 8-8 every year. So, it's a thing. But like, I still have here's the original Titans logo and everything else like that. This is the hat back in when they went to the Super Bowl in 2000. So, if anything, I'm still a closet Titans fan in a way. So
that explains everything, Tanner. Now it all makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Like for me, like being a Royals fan, I felt like I had to have the Red Sox to have something.
Yeah. Oh no, I think you and I both agree with the Red Sox part. So.
Well, just like as a Royals fan, I felt like because they were just historically so crappy, I had to have a baseball team that I knew could win a few games. They hadn't won a World Series yet when I was a Red Sox fan.
Youkilis, Pedro,
Nomar. Yeah, Pedro Martinez was fun.
Freaking Nomar Garciaparra, Big Papi.
The characters on that team were fun to watch and follow. And so for me, I was like, I rooted for the Red Sox a little bit. But for me with the Chiefs, it's different. Like for me, the Chiefs, it's like, whenever I was 9 years old, I liked the Jaguars a little bit. They were cool. Yeah. But I never had a second team. Like since year 2002, 2001.
Oh yeah, no.
I never had a true second team.
When Eric McNair retired, it kind of it drifted away. Haven't seen the stat for a long time, so happy to bring him busted back out there. But that was a fun time though, because I mean uniforms were really cool. They were new. They were part of that newer style coming into play too. So it was a blast.
I think we all have our little secret side team over the years that we've enjoyed.
Don't tell anybody, Mike. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, he's talking about Natron Means and the Chargers. By the way, I don't know if you guys subscribe to Red Tribe Cinema, but he put out some mid-'90s Chiefs Chargers games recently.
Oh, did he?
1994. So if you want to go back and watch some 1994 Chiefs versus Chargers, there's a full game on his YouTube channel, Red Tribe Cinema. One of my favorite guys, Clay. Clay's an awesome freaking Chiefs fan. I've known him for a long time now, and he puts out great quality content, funny stuff. But his work that he does with edits and videos, and just he's a Chiefs fan to the max. I think Clay's an awesome guy, but. Yeah, definitely anyone out there listening that hasn't subscribed to Red Tribe Cinema, 100% subscribe to him. He's a great Chiefs fan to follow.
There you go. All right, let's get out of here, man.
Yeah, man, it's Friday night. I guess it is. God damn, it's 10:40 p.m.
That's right. 10 freaking 40.
All right.
I don't know about next week yet, guys. But stay tuned. Hit the like, subscribe, hit that bell. You'll know if we go live. You'll see an upcoming show. I'll be out of town for the beginning of the week, so we'll see what the heck's going on. And then the next week I got work stuff too. But hey, we'll find out what's going on. Maybe we can sneak a show in. Maybe it might be a Friday again. But stay tuned. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll know when it's coming.
Sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just glad football season's upon us. By next week, guess what, guys? We will have our first practice already under our belt.
Yes.
In the Chiefs' kingdom. So we're getting rolling, man.
A week from Wednesday, the first football game hits.
Fuck, that's crazy. I'm excited, man.
So we're there. So, all right, guys. Let's get the hell out of here, dude.
I will see you all on the next one.
See you guys.